Hey guys, welcome to Hospitality MD live for the second week in a row. And first of all, I just want to say thank you all for being patient as we entered the stream here. We did have some technical difficulties, but I promise we'll get over them eventually.
They're done. We're done. We're good now. I promise. But yeah, it's like a record for us. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, we had so much fun last time that we just had to come back and do it.
Yeah. So I guess we can get the show started here. 1 second.
All right, welcome back to the show, guys. So just to let you know what we have in store, last week obviously was a long show because we were talking about our brand new business. So for those of you who don't know, we are officially open for business as a hotel management, consulting, and task force company. You can find out more information at www.hospitality-md.com. So there's that. But today, on today's show, we are going to be sharing the winner of our giveaway that we announced last week. For those of you who happen to tune in or have maybe seen on our social media, we did release a trailer for our debut full-length documentary entitled Point of Impact about the #1 DoubleTree by Hilton hotel on the planet. If you have not seen the trailer, stay tuned because we will be showing it again today. So we're going to be announcing the winner of our cool giveaway, which will be receiving a signed copy of Yes is the Answer by Christine Trippi, as well as a 15-minute coaching call with Christine. Yes, that book is amazing, and we're looking forward to sharing it with our lucky winner. So we'll also be talking about, because we wanted to mix things up today, a suburban Chicago hotel made headlines this week, I believe on Wednesday, I should say, for violating the trust of the community, of the hotel industry, and we'll talk about it. But for now, why don't we go ahead and have you guys take a look and see what we're talking about here.
Lost my mouse here for a second. All right, here it comes.
Hundreds crowded, mostly maskless, into a hotel ballroom, toasting newlyweds. But in the middle of a pandemic, how is that allowed? That's what we wanted to know. So our Charlie DeMar headed to the Hilton Chicago in Northbrook. Charlie.
Marie, good evening. And that wedding, a potential super spreader here in Northbrook. It comes on the same day that the state reached a pretty grim milestone, 238 single deaths. That is the highest number of deaths since the start of the pandemic. It's her special day, walking into a room filled with hundreds, all eyes on the bride. And if you notice, masks aren't blocking smiles. At the Northbrook Hilton, where they promise a cleaner stay in the age of COVID, we saw no social distancing and groups of people walking about maskless, only a sparing amount covered up. But this wedding was somehow allowed at the prominent name brand hotel. Estimates of 200 to 300 guests, despite the state putting a stop to all private parties and ballroom gatherings. Photos provided to CBS 2 show a crammed cocktail hour where friends and family embraced, and the apps were finger-licking good. So why did the Hilton Northbrook let this happen? Is someone who can explain how this wedding was allowed to happen? Hundreds of people here, no masks, no social distancing.
Gotcha. Let me 12 a.m.
Thank you. We were told a manager was coming in from another location.
What's going on, guys?
But an engineer quickly arrived. A lot to happen. A couple hundred people here, no masks, no social distancing. Leaving just as fast. We reached out to Hilton Corporate earlier tonight. They say that the Hilton here in Northbrook is independently owned and operated, and therefore they couldn't comment on the hotel's behalf. The hotel here in Northbrook, we are still waiting to hear back from them. We are live tonight in Northbrook. Charlie DeMar, CBS 2 News.
I believe that's not the last we'll hear of that, Charlie. Good work.
Can you guys believe that? I mean, we are currently at the peak of obviously this global pandemic. We are in the belly of the worst crisis on record for the hotel industry, and then we have this taking place at a branded, prominent suburban hotel. I have several thoughts on this, but first I want to talk about, because the main thing that I was thinking as I was watching that was poor front desk agent and engineer. Oh my God.
Actually, Lance on Facebook just said the same thing. Feel bad for the lady working the front desk getting bombarded by the anchor. I feel bad for her and the engineer. But I think it was funny. He happened to just get a phone call and walk right away as soon as he saw who it was. It was great.
You know, I have been fortunate to never have had that happen ever while working in a hotel before. I've never had the news barge into the front door with camera, audio, and fucking news anchor with a microphone, excuse my language, and putting in your face and asking you questions about the event that you know is taking place in your hotel. And, you know, and the problem with that is, you know, that poor front desk agent, that engineer, they're going to be, you know, kind of associated with this to the public for, obviously, for the duration that people care about it. But another thing was, where's the MOD? Right?
Right. Where's
the MOD? And for those watching who don't know what an MOD is, that would be it's a typical position that is hosted, especially at full service hotels, manager on duty. So that could be a supervisor, typically in the front office. That could also be any member of the management team on a rotational basis. But on any day, especially in the evening hours after the executive leadership goes home, there's typically a manager on duty to oversee the property. And especially if you have a 150 to 200 person wedding at your hotel, you would think that there would be a manager. Now, granted, we're just speculating, but I don't see any evidence of one. I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
I thought there has to at least be a manager running the event. It's rare to have a huge wedding that big and not have somebody there that's in charge of the event. But I mean, I'm sure they decided that they're just going to hide and not show their face on camera. And most hotels wouldn't necessarily just come out and speak on it. I mean, most companies would want to make a statement before they go on record like that. But I'm sure they had somebody there that just didn't want to show their face or address the situation. So I'm curious on how long the cameraman was standing there for, you know, how awkward it was. You know, I just wonder, like, I would love to be a fly on the wall in that situation just to see.
I mean, I can only imagine the scene. And this is also why I just love the hotel industry and love hotels, because here you are, it's a Wednesday night in the middle of the suburbs, and you have a string orchestra playing in the lobby. You have a huge wedding going on. You're in the middle of the pandemic, and you have the news barging in. As much as that all is like totally not cool, right? It's just fun. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. Again, I would love to be a fly on the wall as well. Now, to your point, right? So in the news clip, they did not get a chance to make a statement, right? There was no leadership there, or at least no leadership willing to make a statement, probably without consulting with their legal team. So I just want to quickly read. This is from the general manager. I don't believe we have this on a slide.
I do.
I found it on Twitter.
I think we have the same one here. I'll put it up so you can see it.
Yes. Okay. So I have the full quote of that. That's a abridged version. So I'm going to read this full quote while you guys have that on screen. So this is coming from Holly Algauer-Cyr, general manager of the Hilton Chicago Northbrook. Last evening, the Hilton Chicago Northbrook hosted a family wedding with approximately 150 people in attendance. While the event was booked prior to the implementation of the state's latest mitigation measures, we sincerely regret allowing this gathering to proceed, and our family apologizes to our guests, employees, and the Chicagoland community. The coronavirus pandemic has created unprecedented challenges for the hospitality industry and our family-owned business. However, our hope to keep the hotel afloat and employees working should not outweigh health and safety. We are committed to working with state and local health authorities to ensure our hotel is abiding by all safety measures and mitigation guidelines. We immediately reviewed our bookings to ensure any business that is inconsistent with the state's guidelines are not held at this property, and we are committed to following contact tracing and testing protocols recommended by health officials. It will take time, but we hope to rebuild the trust of our guests, staff, and community have placed in us for so many years. Okay.
Bullcrap. I call it bullcrap.
Okay, go ahead. What do you think?
So,
what do you think?
all right. Well, a small part of my history that I don't normally share because it was just short. I worked right across the street from this property for 3 months, and I know a couple people that actually worked there for quite some time, and just some of the stories that I hear. If it's the same people running it, then they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew it. They knew they were breaking rules. They wanted to make money. Somebody tipped off the news and they got caught. That's what they're sorry about more than anything. They got caught and now they're just trying to save face. And then Lance actually made a good point here, wondering what Hilton will do in regards to their franchise. He thinks that they should have their branding removed due to unethical behavior. I don't think Hilton's going to do anything. I think it's a little it kind of sucks for the brand, but at the same time, they're just going to say it's a franchise. They run it themselves.
And that's actually exactly what they said.
That is what they said. As long as they're paying their franchise fees, they don't give a crap.
So, and I think, this leads me to some of my thoughts that I've had on this. Number one, what does this event even taking place, what does this say about the depths of destruction and damage that is occurring in the hotel industry right now? As a hospitalitarian, as somebody who sees the side of the hotel as well and wants to acknowledge that, this I think is very telling of the widespread destruction that the hotel industry is facing, that they knew, to your point, Greg, that they knew what they were doing wrong. They thought to themselves, we're going to try and make this happen. Our occupancy is low. I'm sure most of the hotel guests were either staying over from the wedding, or maybe they just would have kept it behind closed doors and tried to forget and pretend like it wasn't there. But they really sacrificed their short-term financial gains over the long-term recovery of their hotel. Now, can they be fully blamed for that? Absolutely. But I think it's also worthy of mentioning that, I think it's safe to say that there have been some yo-yo policies that we've seen from lawmakers that have contributed to, and also a lack of stimulus, right? We had everybody get laid off, then PPP came out, and then some hotels brought their people back, and now it's laid off again, or their hotels closed. And this is a family-owned business. What the news doesn't understand, what the media doesn't understand, what the general public doesn't understand is they see Hilton Chicago Northbrook and they think, wow, this is Hilton, just like when anything happens at a Hampton Inn somewhere, when that family got kicked out of the pool, just like when any incident happens, just like the DoubleTree Portland, they always think this is coming from Hilton. Why isn't Hilton putting a stop to this? But what we have to understand as a general public, and what we have to keep in mind, and it's sometimes hard to do as a hotel community, is to remember that that the business model of these brands has increasingly become asset light over the last several decades. They own very few properties and are franchising their brands out to small business owners. So I think that you have the brands who, and I'm sorry to say I love Hilton, but they at no point ever lowered their franchise fees. They at no point ever halted any of that. The occupancy was was dead low, no market whatsoever, and they're still charging their hotels marketing fees and Hilton Honors distribution, royalties, all this stuff, when their business model is based on franchises. So I think there's a lot to be said about everything, including that. I don't know. What do you think about that, Greg?
And then at what point does hiding behind, oh, they're a franchise, not work anymore? At what point do they have to, the public will make them accountable for what people that are flying their flag do to their guests? More incidents like Portland are like this. Like, eventually people are just going to be like, okay, you can't keep saying that. You let them represent you. We're going to hold you responsible for it. Real quick, I have to clarify. Earlier I said Lance said that they should remove the branding. That was actually Lisa. And we got Mona in the chat with some hard eyes. So good morning, Mona. And Noel saying, what if they say it was done to save the hotel?
What if they say that again, Greg?
What if it was done? What if they say it was done to save the hotel? Does that change?
I actually don't think that that's too far off. I don't think it was too far. I mean, they basically said it right here in the statement from the hotels that, our hope to keep the hotel afloat and employees working should not outweigh health and safety. Obviously, they don't really feel that way. They'd rather keep their hotel afloat.
Right.
And I don't necessarily blame them. I obviously disagree with what they did, because I think it sets the entire industry backwards a little bit, especially when this is, it ruins trust. It's very sensitive and it's socially irresponsible and immoral. But I can't also demonize them to a full extent, knowing that in a market that, there's no market right now anywhere except for in some of your, roadside motels and hotels and that sort of thing. But what are they going to do? Lose their business? It's sad to think about both ends of this. Both ends of this.
Yeah. The government needs to do something. They haven't helped the industry at all, and it's time they do something to keep. Or we're going to lose thousands of hotels across the country. It's sad to think about.
Right, and it's the American economy is a result of small businesses, as a result of entrepreneurs. That's what this system is built around. So for all these hotels to lose, to be lost by these small businesses, and then for large corporations, for real estate investment trusts and insurance companies to buy up these hotels for pennies on the dollar, run them terribly, perpetuate minimal hospitality while they're during that holding period,
right,
and then sell them for way more money once the industry recovers to anybody who would buy it. Who knows what the entrepreneurs and the small business owners, what kind of situation they'll be in at the time. So it's just, it's one of those things where I think this situation is incredibly sad on both sides, however you think about it. But one thing that I do like that you said, Greg, was, at what point does the brand actually take some responsibility?
Yeah, they're getting the money for it.
Right. You are, as a brand, you will enforce biannual quality assurance audits.
Right.
You will essentially mandate investment in the ownership from owners for capital projects, different things that need to be addressed on property, for different brand initiatives. Clean stay for the irony of this video that we saw was, you can see the signage and the verbiage all across in the new collateral for Hilton's global rollout of their Clean Stay program, which is designed to mitigate the not only mitigate the spread of the virus, but also to increase trust in the brand and encourage travelers that they're going to be offered a safe experience. So if you as a brand are going to roll out these global procedures, take, probably 2 to 3%, all the way up to 9% when you total up all the marketing fees of top line revenues to the brand, and do all this stuff. But then once something actually occurs and you'll take credit you will take credit for the positive things. Let's take Craig Poole's hotel, #1 DoubleTree by Hilton. Hilton is not involved in anything of that hotel. They're not involved, but they'll bring them to New York City and have them sign the wall for their 100-year anniversary and take credit for that level of hospitality being perpetuated by the brand that they fall under.
Right.
Even though all they did was give them paperwork and say, sign away 9% of your top line.
Yeah. It won't last forever.
So I do think that there will be a time when the brands are required to step up and take accountability. Now, obviously, again, in expressing and deploying empathy for all parties, right? The hotel is a small business, but it's destroyed the public's trust. But also for the brand, we obviously have empathy for them, right? This is unprecedented for everybody, including the brands. And this is so atypical. And I do believe that the brands do a good job of, in good faith, enforcing what they can and doing the best that they can to promote brand standards and make it a seamless experience across the country. In a certain aspect, it could be argued that by brands deploying the franchise model and by doing this, it actually makes your experience traveling anywhere in the world better, because you know that when you go, you're going to have a Marriott or you're going to have a Hilton that you can trust and you can stay at because of their global distribution that they've had through the franchise model. So it's not like the brands are the demons in this situation. It's just there's questions to be asked and there's things to think about for every party involved. What do you think?
No, I agree with you 100%. The brands. Oh, my phone light is on. Hold on. There's a lot of good that comes with being a franchise, and Hilton setting these standards. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and again, another plug to the brands is for these small business owners who are investing in the real estate of hotels. The brands are also giving you revenue management support tools, systems. How do you run your hotel? Here's the playbook for how you run it. So when we say, and I just want to make this explicitly clear for everybody watching who maybe isn't familiar, or even some who are, but just to clarify, my opinion is that you're not just signing your life away and getting nothing in return. The value there's a reason why people choose to brand their hotel more often than run independent. And that's because of the support that you get from the brand more often than not, as well as their distribution. So again, I think kind of all in all with this situation, they really chose short-term gains over long-term prosperity. And as we know, that will never, ever, ever win. They will be losing when this is all over. And I'm interested to see how the narrative continues. Maybe everybody will just forget about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the hotel has been inundated with people calling to cancel future bookings with events that they've managed to push back, are just saying, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already seeing the losing effects that this has had on their business in the long term. So They certainly screwed up on that. Obviously this sets the industry back a little bit, but we want to empathize with the fact that they are in financial distress. And as well, our brands, I guess we'll leave that one up to you, what you think the responsibility of the brands are. For those watching, if you have an opinion, I'd love to know. So definitely let us know in the comments. So I think we'll go into let's talk about our giveaway here.
Well, real quick though, I have I wanted to show a tip before we get to our giveaway. Still on the same level of our plane of Christine Trippi here. She has a weekly newsletter that she puts out through her website, Glowise Pineapple, and it's always filled with great information, great tips, and tricks, and just really focusing on yes is the answer, which is of course her tag here. Sorry, I'm just setting this up real quick. So this past yesterday, right? Yesterday was Wednesday. She came out with this one here about birthdays, about leading from the heart, and this is because it's actually her birthday week. So I want to wish a very happy birthday to Christine tomorrow. We're a little early, but she makes a good point, and it's something that we don't always think about is when you're checking an ID, always see if it's the guest's birthday, and it gives you an opportunity to make a special impact and do something special for them. Even just wishing them a happy birthday and asking what their plans are can be enough to be like, oh wow, they actually noticed and cared. Because as she said in here, she's given her birthday multiple times this week, and nobody even says anything. So just that little bit makes a huge difference.
And like for people, like people celebrate their birthdays all month sometimes. Like this is a huge deal for a lot of people to finally feel special and appreciated. There's so many people who do this. I think she actually shared a tip of her actually putting that in action at her previous hotel. So Christine is actually from the Chicagoland area, like we are, and she had a residence inn or courtyard, I believe residence inn in Waukegan, and one of her checklist items for her night audit team was for them to go through each and every arrival and check to see if their birthday was in any sort of proximity to their arrival date. And if it was, they would like tape some balloons to the door and pre-block their room and put some balloons in a card and then a little treat inside the room. And honestly, I can't even imagine my reaction if I walked into that, because especially for somebody traveling, you're so focused on everything else going on. You probably forgot about your birthday. You said, I'm away from my family. This is, it's just whatever. I'm here on business. It's just another day. And then they take the time to make you feel special. So certainly some practical business tips that you can take from recognizing somebody's birthday. So definitely with that being said, Christine Trippi, prematurely but sincerely, happy birthday from all of us. And from Hospitality MD, we appreciate you.
All right, real quick before we go into the giveaway, Didi says hi, Kyle, on Facebook.
Oh, hello.
All right, so I think we're ready to move to the giveaway. For those that aren't aware of what the giveaway was, we premiered our documentary trailer for our first ever documentary on the DoubleTree in Reading, Pennsylvania. We had a hashtag and share. I think we should play the documentary real quick for anybody that missed it last week.
Let's play the trailer. Let's play it. I'll see that trailer any day because it's so good.
All right, here it comes.
They're always running it for the wrong reason. They forgot. They forgot why we're here. Because it's a corporation, because somebody's a president or vice president, doesn't make them the smartest person in the room. They're not at the point of impact. They're not at the center of influence. I work under the theory that everything happens right here.
The new census reckoning makes it the poorest city in the nation.
My mom used to say to me, General, men stay in the street, women stay in the house.
When I got to myself, I said to myself, when I get out, I'm changing. I'm gonna land me a job at the DoubleTree.
Oh my God, now I'm on my own. I gotta make decisions by myself. And I figured I got away from the foundry. I said, let me get into hospitality and I don't know anymore.
Boom. Busted in, and I was looking to 5 to 10 years. There were days when my cellie would be up there, and I would turn to the wall without knowing and put the pillow over my face and cry, because I was in hell.
That's what hotels are. Hospitality, they're community. They're not just a cash flow. They're a major part of the community.
Craig has that hospitality stick in your heart.
I have learned to love this city.
When you find a place that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Nobody would come to downtown Reading. The crime, this, that, the other thing, and people did come to downtown Reading.
I never get tired of seeing that documentary trailer, guys. If this is your first time seeing it, definitely feel free to watch it anytime you'd like on YouTube. In addition to sharing it, while our giveaway is over, we still want to get as many eyes on this documentary trailer as possible. We are working diligently with our creative director, Tom, and our post-production team on bringing this documentary to life in the greatest capacity that we can for the benefit of the entire hospitality industry and for everybody, right, who can recognize the power of a great hotel and what that can do for the community.
Yeah, we had a comment here from Josh, our podcast guest from this week. He says the documentary looks
Josh, thank you so much for tuning in, my friend, and I will definitely use this opportunity to give Josh a brief shout out for everybody else tuning in. Josh Schreiber is a task force general manager with Hotel Equities, and he was our podcast episode released this week on Tuesday. So we released part 1 of his 2-part series, where he talks about the underbelly of the hotel industry and draws some light on the challenges that we face in coping with the trauma that occurs and with working in hotels and dealing with things that you were never trained to do inevitably. I think a good practical example from today's live stream about the exact topic of what Josh talks about would simply be you're a front desk agent and you're being bombarded by a camera crew, audio boom mic guy comes walking in, news anchor comes in, and you're pissed and you're upset and you're traumatized because you know that it's not your fault, and now you're on blast in front of everybody. And Josh has some great tips. I would actually encourage that front desk agent to watch and listen to the podcast episode. So Josh, thank you so much for your contributions to hospitality, for your support for Hospitality MD. And we look forward to releasing part 2 of your episode tomorrow. So for everybody listening, we will be releasing part 2 tomorrow for everybody who wants to tune in. Yeah. Now,
hold on, let's catch up on the comments here real quick. We got Dallas Woodmark saying, "What's up, Hospitality MD? Can't wait for Point of Impact. Neither can we. We've been excited since we recorded it back in September. So we're working hard on it." Noel our friend Noel over on Twitch says looks great. I think it was his first time seeing it. Awesome. We got Lisa saying she's watched Josh's podcast. It was a great show. I agree 100%. Great. Josh saying thank you. No, thank you, Josh. Let's see. Oh, Hugo has a nice long comment here. Hold on. Looking at Hilton's balance sheet, they're holding a good amount of cash to decrease franchise fees for struggling hotels. They have a low amount of debt ratio, so I think Hilton can decrease their fees for a brief time until the hotels are stable. I would have to do more research, but I'm shocked with the lack of support.
Hugo, thank you for doing some. I want to just go off and start swearing. Thank you for doing some research and providing an insightful, valuable comment about what we were talking about. I'm not surprised that you would do that. We love you, man. And also, I will just say, I think regardless of their balance sheet anyway, right, their entire business model is franchises. If their small business owners go under, the brand will collapse inevitably. And granted, they're probably thinking, well, how bad can it be? You know, we need money too because we want to support our corporate infrastructure. It's time to give back to the hotels. Okay, that's all we'll talk about.
Real quick, I'll answer Lance's question. He wanted to know where else we're streaming because he saw I'm on my personal Twitch and we're on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. If you're not seeing, most of the chatter is coming from Facebook though, so if you're not seeing it, you might need to refresh the pages. I'm not seeing it on mine either, but I have it here on my app here. So That's where I'm singing. I love you too, Hugo. Thank you. And I guess we're gonna go ahead and get to the giveaway.
Yeah,
here.
Let's do it.
All right, give me 1 second here.
And Dallas, thanks for tuning in. We've got you marked down for this giveaway. So thank you for sharing our trailer. And let's see. May the best man or woman win.
Yeah, using a, I think it's for children, but it's gonna randomize a name pick here. So I'm gonna click spin, and we'll get our winner.
Alrighty. So, Jen, I'm sorry. I know I was about to call it for you a little early. We love you, but Barbara actually is from the city of Reading, Pennsylvania. Let me actually just quickly look her up to make sure that I am giving her the proper commendations here. Let's see. Okay. So Barbara shared our documentary trailer, and her comment was, happy to see this positive spin on our city of Reading. So Barbara is co-owner at Pagoda Apparel, and she's from the city of Reading, Pennsylvania. So I actually am very, I feel warm knowing that this giveaway, obviously thank you for everybody who shared, right? But now that we know who the winner is, I feel warm knowing that this is going to a small business owner in the disenfranchised, marginalized, and minimized community of Reading, Pennsylvania. And she, being a non-hospitality or hotels person per se, I think will find a lot of benefit in the book. I think she'll find a lot of benefit in speaking with Christine. And perhaps, certainly she'll be able to use that as a catalyst to help improve her small business and make the experience for her customers that much more exciting and hospitable. So Barbara will be reaching out to you shortly to let you know that you won, and we're happy to keep this within the Reading community. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy. I love giving things away, and I actually think I want to give away a couple more books.
Sounds good to me.
Let's
right? Do it. Yeah.
Now, these won't be signed, but they will, and it doesn't include the 15-minute call, but give me 1 second here. Remove Barbara from that list, and I will bring it back. And let's give away a couple other books. Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Awesome.
Jen.
So Jen, she is the host of one of the newest hospitality podcasts to enter the scene here as of post or kind of mid quarantine, early pandemic, as a result of her being let go from her job as, I think she was a hotel industry relations director for a housing bureau. I'm actually just gonna let you guys know. So yeah, she was, up until June of 2020, the director of hotel industry for relations for On Peak, which is one of the major housing bureaus that works with conventions to house the attendees for major citywide conventions. And this is after she's had a career in hotel sales. She actually started her career as the concierge at the Palmer House, a Hilton hotel, which is the second largest hotel in Chicago and a very iconic place. So Jen, we love you. Her and I have become friends through our mutual love of podcasting and giving back to the industry. So we're happy to give from our Hospitality MD archives a copy of Yes is the Answer, just to show our support in a small way.
Great. All right, let's go one more.
Awesome. It's anybody's game.
Oh, this is a big spin. There we go.
Right.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Congratulations.
Friend. So Dallas is the general manager of the Lookout at Lake Chelan. And Dallas, you'll have to call me out if I mispronounced the name of the lake there. But Dallas, we've actually been connected on LinkedIn for a little bit, and one of his posts, I think, that actually prompted me to connect with him in the first place was he said something about a memory that he had of being a front office manager somewhere in middle management and trying to move up, and he would remember the lobby filled with lines and guests who were waiting to be assisted and just in the weeds. For anybody who's in any type of service, you know that feeling. And he would watch as his director of rooms and general manager would walk through the lobby together and essentially ignore the reality of what's actually happening in the point of impact of their hotel. And in Dallas's post, he said, no matter how high I go, I'll never forget to help when help is needed. And I think that is so relevant, so important, and so needed right now in the industry. So I can only imagine the support that his team at the Lookout Hotel have from Dallas as their general manager. And Dallas, looking forward to connecting with you soon. We're going to be getting on a Zoom call to talk offline and just get to know each other. And we'll be sending you this book as well. So Dallas, thank you for your contributions to hospitality, for supporting Hospitality MD, and for sharing the trailer. We appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats to Jen, Dallas, and of course our big winner, Barbara. So
yes.
That's exciting. That's it. I don't have anything else to give away. So,
and don't expect this, guys. Don't expect it for every week. We'll see.
So before we wrap up, there's just one more slide I wanted to go over. I saw it on LinkedIn. It's something from Glenn Leibowitz. I guess he's a speaker on leadership and development. I actually haven't shown Kyle this slide yet because I kind of wanted to get his candid response to it a little bit. It's called 13 Inspiring Traits of Exceptional Leaders. And I put inspiring and exceptional in quotes because I feel like this list should be a lot shorter based on what's on here. Some things are, let me show you.
I'm at the edge of my seat.
You know, like if when I think of somebody that's a leader, right? There's bare minimums that shouldn't be on here that make them exceptional. So we're going through this list. Trust your job you've been here hired to do. Not a lot of leaders do that, right? A lot of leaders like to micromanage. Okay, that's fine. They seek your advice and input. That's a sign of a good leader. Find opportunities to let you shine. Recognize your contributions. Recognizing contributions, I think, is a bare minimum of a good leader. Exceptional, of course, they got to do it, but
right,
having your back during tough times. Master storytellers, all right, that's an exceptional leader. Not everybody's a great storyteller, so if you can really tell stories, I can dig it. Challenge you to do bigger and better things. Okay, express appreciation. Response, like I think it starts off well and then it just like, let me just fill out this list and make it up to 13.
Sure.
They're responsive. They know when to apologize. I mean, most people don't know when to apologize, but give credit where credit's due. They treat others with dignity and respect. Since when is that an exceptional that's just a leadership quality. Like that's a bare minimum quality, and they care. These are bare minimum qualities. And I'm like,
yeah, Greg, I think I definitely share your sentiments on this. Now, let me just ask you something. Was this a kind of a viral post on LinkedIn?
No, I one of my contacts shared it and I saw it and I'm like, really? At first I read it. I'm reading through. I'm like, all right, beginning's all right. But then I'm like, the last one that says they care just kind of like stuck out. Like that's an inspiring trait of an exceptional leader. That's a bare minimum. Like if you don't care, you're not a leader.
So All right, so you know what I'm about to do is play devil's advocate and try and empathize with Glenn. So first of all, I will say that I have a suspicion that Glenn didn't even consider this when he was writing it, because the bar has been set so low for leaders right now. And when he says what he should have said, I think maybe that would have made it better, was 13 traits of above average managers. Right? Because like, I think we're talking, this very much sounds like it's rooted in somebody who holds an official management role. At least that's how I'm interpreting it, which, as we know, is not synonymous with leadership. So yeah, when I see things like, you know, they express appreciation, they care, they treat others with dignity and respect, all I can think of is, oh my gosh, who hurt you? What are the bottom of the barrel so-called leaders and managers that you've encountered throughout your life that have led you to this decision, and to publish this? Because I don't want to discredit it, because it's not inherently untrue, but I think that there's a potential for this to be somewhat damaging to when, especially when you're putting it out there on a platform that is typically consisting of professionals who are in the millennial age group, who are the primary users of LinkedIn, who are going to see this and think to themselves, okay, they trust you. Okay, check. They seek your advice. I do that. Check. They find out, oh, they give credit where credit. And then they're going to say, I'm the best leader ever. I'm a perfect leader. And meanwhile, growing their ego unnecessarily because there's nothing there. I will say the best one on this list, I'm sure you and I agree, Greg, is the master storytellers one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Now that is like a power move. Like if you had like 3 traits on here and they were just like fire, like they're master storytellers. They, man, I'm on the spot now, but yeah. What else is good on here?
I mean, they challenge you to do bigger, better things. A lot of leaders don't challenge people to be better.
And they have your back during tough times, or they seek your advice and input. Because I definitely do think that we can talk about, you know, seeking advice and input, but what happens when it's time to make the tough decisions? Like thinking back to like the beginning of the pandemic, when it was time to make the decisions for who was going to be on the skeleton crew and who wasn't, it was like that decision got made behind closed doors.
Right.
And, you know, embarrassingly enough, granted, we were never the general managers of that hotel, but, you know, we both had a role in making those decisions, and embarrassingly, we never had the opportunity to include anybody. Now, granted, it was kind of, our back was against the wall, but I think seeking your advice and input and being open-minded, open door, open communication is huge. So, Glenn, I'm so sorry for whoever hurt you along your journey. But I definitely think that all really, I don't want to tear you down in any way, shape, or form. I believe that there are some powerful things on here.
Right, and I think his intentions are good.
Conversation, right? Absolutely. The fact that you were even willing to put yourself out there with these is certainly great, and was actually, this list was powerful enough to inspire dialogue that you don't even know is happening right now.
Right.
With people. So thank you for your contributions and for putting your opinions out there. You know, maybe we can talk about it more in detail at some point, but yeah, this is great. I'm glad I didn't see it before we talked about it.
Yeah, I wanted to get your candid reaction to it. And I like how you say you're going to play devil's advocate and then took my side completely. That's great.
I think I took devil's advocate
a
little bit, right?
No.
Well, we'll focus on the master storytellers component of that.
Yeah, there we go.
that was good. Yeah. Well, I guess that's pretty much it, right, for today's show?
That's all I got. I appreciate everybody coming out and joining us today, and congratulations again to our 3 winners. We'll be reaching out to you soon.
Yes. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Look forward to Josh Schreib's episode 2 of 2 of our series with him coming out tomorrow. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll be talking to you. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care.